to her.
Not ready yet.
Invasive growth. Dark effigy. You are seen.
Wind right. I need more time for that. I need more time for that.
So long. We shall fruit of eye of the doom at the door. You will fail. Starfire
Out of mana.
burns for
Out of mana.
she revokes your existence. Your affliction upon her will soon be erased.
Please look away.
Hello Exiles, and welcome back to my next build update on my Oracle version of my build Thornheir, the Maelstrom Shepherd. I've been playing around with the build and made quite a few changes over the past few days. I'm trying to test out what works best and how to minimize the use of multiple skills to just focus on using Tornado. There's two versions I have with the build and I'll explain more in the video, and I'll also have two separate path of building links in the guide. So the first thing we'll cover in this video would be the changes to the skill tree. So the main one being is we started off with the Shaman Ascendancy. If you haven't seen that one already, you can check it out in the build guide. There's also a few videos there on the showcase for it. So this is now the progression in the league. So I've now switched over to the Oracle Ascendancy. The main reason being is for this node here, so the Unseen Path. So it walks the path not taken. So if you can see here all these purple routes coming out of the skill tree. So these are all the additional stuff you can pick with the this Ascendancy node. Now the biggest ones for this one here is this Power of the Storm. So 50% increased damage if you triggered a skill recently. This works very well with your elemental weakness, as well as there's a few additional stuff up here. Just give a bonus to your elemental plus your physical damage as well. So that's the biggest thing. Now I have been playing around with a few other things in this. So recently I've been switching in between this inevitable crit hit to see how it fits in with the build. So I did have that. So each time you procced, you'll use the elemental weakness or your frost bomb, it was triggering this here. I did also have it set up to test it with cast on alignment as well, just to play around with it. But I've worked out a way now. I've tweaked my build a little bit, so I actually don't need this anymore. So it's just primarily focusing on using Tornado. So what I've done is I've added in this Align Fate. So this actually is pretty cool. So pretty much is you get a visage of yourself, so like a clone of yourself, and it pretty much casts a spell that you've cast recently. It works really good. Sometimes it casts your elemental weakness to get that burning ground effect. Sometimes it casts an additional tornado, which is also very nice. So there's hasn't been too much changes in the actual passive tree itself. I did remove a lot of stuff on this bottom corner, and pretty much focused more on a lot of stuff here. So you can see between my switch 1 and switch 2, they have your different things. So now with my switch 2, because we're no longer using shapeshifting, we pretty much just have a staff that gives all spell skills, so that way there on my switch 2 it's all my elemental weakness, my frost bomb, and any other skills I have associated with it. And the main thing here for the switch 2 is getting your exposure effects, so that way there you're getting your ground alignments, my cast speed, and a few extra little nodes. The other big thing as well with these remarks, these are really good. They really boost up the damage quite a bit. And then still on my swap 1 is just basically your fat elemental damage, skill effect duration, spell damage, and the increased damage on if you had an alignment on an enemy recently. So they're the biggest changes, as well as now we are CI as well. So we've gone to a full energy shield and lost all the armor, but we'll discuss that further. So next thing we'll go over is my new items and items that I'm currently using. Firstly, I'll start off with the flasks. So this flask here, the Lamanga's Spirits, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is actually really good. So pretty much it recovers 64 mana every 2 seconds. So it's pretty much active all the time. And because I got that flask skin effect, so that's how I got this nice lightning stuff coming off me. If you're wondering what that is, it's just a GFX that I got linked to my flask skin, which I think looks pretty cool. So the biggest changes is firstly my staff. So I got an 8 physical spell skill staff here. The cast speed's not too much important, but the most important thing is the spell damage and the increased physical spell damage, because that there's what greatly increases your tornado damage. And now for my 2 sockets, I've got a +1 to all spell skills, and then the 30 increased spell damage there. So that greatly increases my damage quite a bit. And also with all my setup, as you can see here, my tornado is level 40, which is the max level you can get. Now for the gloves, there's 2 ways you can go about this, depending on if you can sustain your mana, because tornado does cost a lot, 315 mana, as you can see here. So your mana does go quite quickly. So if you're able to sustain mana, I would recommend doing this Dodre's Tenure. So this gives 122% increased damage on mine. It does give a reduced cast speed, but the spell damage is the most important thing. The more you can get, the better. And I've actually got this socketed with each runic inscription from your curse skills, causes me to regen mana. That works very well with my element weakness, because as you can see here, each time I'm spamming it, my mana is not really going down. It actually goes up quite a bit, which is good. It has been very helpful. It's really good for bossing as well, so my mana gets regenerated faster, so I can cast in a second tornado if I need to. If not, I recommend just getting gloves that give physical leech mana, so that way there you're each time you're casting your tornadoes, you're getting the mana as well. Now for the belt chain, so we're using a chevron satchel, and that's more so to get the life recovery from the flasks. So that way there it applies to your energy shield, because if not, your energy shield, unless you have fast regen or you're using your convalescence skill, you're not really regenerating energy shield much. And because I don't have a lot of regen stuff, that's why I've switched to this belt here. Now at the moment I'm just using this kind of life flask. It's not the best. The most important thing is the instant recovery, so that way there, as soon as you click your health pot, you're getting the recharge straight away. Ideally you want to get changed to an Olaf's Resolve, because that way there you you're regenerating more life each time you cast it. Now I've still got the same boots. My boots haven't changed. It's just high movement speed, as much energy shield as you can, and then ideally as much resistance as you can as well. It would be nice to get a bit more energy shield on these, but I'm not looking to upgrade them at the moment. These have done me pretty good for now. My amulet has stayed the same. I haven't updated my amulet. The only thing I have changed is my anointment. So my anointment is allocate preservation, which just gives me additional skill effect duration. Now the other changes as well is my 2 rings. So at the moment, what I'm just playing around with is rings focusing on cast speed. So that way there, I can use my elemental weakness or my frost bomb quicker. That's the most important things, as well as your resistances. The other thing as well I would recommend is this increased spell damage while on full energy shield. So that way there, you've got increased damage happening at once all the time. Now the armor, because we changed to full energy shield, so the most important thing for this here is the spirit. The more spirit the better. I wouldn't recommend going any more than less than 45 spirit, depending on where you've got your spirit allocated to. But the main thing as well is having your triple resistances as well. Ideally anything more than 30% on each one is important, but depending on your other gear as well, you just got to play around with to see what you require most. And then ideally my energy shield on this one is a little bit low, 645, but this is just something I crafted. I will look at updating in the future, something a bit more better. Now the biggest thing is this here. So I got the Vertex Tribal Mask. I don't recommend getting any more than +3 level of skills. +4 is a bit overkill, especially as you can see here, my tornado is level 40. You can't exceed over 40, so there's no point getting anything higher than that. The most important things on this though that I do recommend is the chance to inflict alignments. So that way there, you're getting your burning ground effects a lot more easier, especially with the frost bomb. Ideally, if you can get a spirit enchantment on this, it's very beneficial. So that way there, you can have less spirit requirements on your gear. But the most important thing in this is the effects here. So skill gems have no attribute requirement. That is the most important thing. More so for the other version that you can do with this Oracle Ascendancy. Due to this, because you have Frost Bomb here, it requires 147 intelligence. Your elemental weakness 147 intelligence, which is a lot. Because the other version of this is STR stacking, so strength stacking. And that comes additionally from this node here, so 2% increased spell damage per 10 strength. Now I've done a version on the path of building, which I'll add into the build guide. This here is absolutely amazing. You can literally take off all this here and add in more energy shield, and pretty much is I was getting about an extra 60 to 80,000 damage per second on my tooltip. So absolutely amazing, and that was with an additional 1,000 strength. So at the moment my strength is only 88, but with a few versions I've been playing around with, it can get up to about 1,200 strength, and yeah, the damage is just insane. But it does require a lot to shift. At the moment, this is just what I'm playing with at the moment because it's what I'm enjoying doing. I don't really want to change to strength stacking just yet, but I do have a version of that which I will add in. Now, as for the my skill gems, so there is quite a few changes I've made. Like I said, I've tried to eliminate as much as I can, so that way there you're pretty much just focusing on using your tornado, as well as your frost bomb from time to time, as well as your elemental weakness. So first things first, we go through the tornado. So Tornado is set up to cast on my skill 1, my setup 1 only. So that way there, that is giving me my most damage. As you can see here, it's level 40. So I'm still running my Swift Affliction to my considerable casting, but my prolonged duration to catalytic elements, and then my physical mastery. Now I did have Diala's Desire in my Tornado, but I've actually switched that out. So I've added my physical mastery there instead, and I've actually added it down here to my elemental conflux. The main reason being is so if you can see here, it gives not just 1+ all skill levels, but also 10% quality of supported skills. Now, the main thing is with Elemental Conflux, it actually gains additional elemental damage depending on how much quality it has. So, now giving that my gem is already at 21-23, plus an additional level plus 10% quality. It's pretty much giving me 81% more additional elemental damage. So if you can see here, as at the moment it's affecting my cold damage. So my cold damage is 290,000 damage per second, which is just absolutely insane. The damage does go up depending on enemies in the game. See here, if I cast a few things, it goes up again almost up to 300,000, which is just, yeah, it just nukes bosses straight away. Now, a few other changes. So my elemental weakness, I've actually still got my Burning Inscription plus my spell cascade, but what I've done is actually added this Dordre's Undoing, as well with Focus Curse and Efficiency too. So this Dordre's Undoing is pretty fun to play around with. It does give a bit more damage on it, and it actually worked really good when using cast on critical. That's the main reason why I had this set up, and it was actually proccing after 4 or 5 casts of my elemental weakness, which was really nice. It hasn't been much changes to my Frost Bomb, so I've still got my Overabundance 1, Spell Cascade, Short Fuse 2, Heroic Romance 2, and Frost Nexus. So you can see here, just casting your 3 Frost Bombs, you're getting a Romance. So pretty much I've got a Fire Infusion right now, which that's the reason why the damage goes up, as you can see there. So now, because we've changed to full energy shield, the main thing is this skill here, which is the Convalescence, which pretty much is once you activate it, it instantly recharges your energy shield, which is nice. I've got that just with Ocean's Oath, so that way there I do get a bit more mana leech while it's active, and then my second wind, so I can cast it twice. Now my elemental conflux is pretty much still the same, so still running the prolonged duration 2, mysticism 2, and I've added fire mastery into that for an additional fire level. But yeah, the main change is just adding that Diala's Desire, which I've taken off my Tornado and added it down here. Now I have been playing around quite a bit with my companions. I actually went through about 9 or 10, just try to get it to work, because it's very funny. So it says here Trail of Lightning, so monster leaves a trail of shocked ground as they move. So the biggest thing with that is the shock ground only actually applies when there's enemies around. So the supports gems as well I have with it took me a while to figure out. I actually had to message a few people to work out how they got theirs to work. I think it's bugged. So you actually have to add in a few other skill gems to make it work or to activate it before you can actually add in these gems here. So I've got my Shock Induction 2 on it, my Persistent Ground 3, and my Roach Ground. So that way there, each time my Quadrilla is going into the fight, it's leaving a nice trail of lightning, but then the ground kind of expands out. I've actually got a video on a T15 mapping I've done, as well as if you saw earlier in the video, there was a few bossing clips. You can see the Roach Ground coming up, and that's there from that skill gem here. And then I've got my Breeder's Brain, so that way there my minion doesn't die, he pretty much runs into the pack, doesn't do any damage, he's just there to give me my ground effects. So that is set up on my class, my spot 1. And then my last thing is I recently just changed last night to these specters, which is the quill crabs. So if you don't know what the quill crabs do, is they shoot a so they're rangers, they shoot like a beam of ice, and pretty much it gives a chill ground effect. So that way there I got rid of using my ice nova. So that way there my little crabs here will give me that chilling ground effect, which makes it easier than having had to cast multiple things at once. And then I pretty much just got as for my spore gems, just freeze, frost nexus, persistent ground 3, enraging ground, and then rapid attack, so that way they're attacking faster. Now I am trying to tweak my spirit a little bit more. Like I said, I'm going to upgrade my armor to a more higher spirit one as well, with more energy shields, so that way there I can actually have them both on my class ones, and that way there it makes it easier, so I can have both of them running and both applying the ground effects instead of having to swap between the two. But that's just the main changes at the moment and what I'm playing with. And like I said, you know, I'll have the two versions, so there'll be this version plus the strength stacking version, which is just, yeah, if you've got the time, I would recommend playing this. It's just absolutely insane the amount of damage you can get. Even now, you know, my damage just nukes bosses, and it's absolutely amazing. But that's all for now. I will post another update shortly, just with my progression and what I'm doing. But I will post a video eventually of the strength stacking version once I finished getting all the gear requirement that I needed. I've just created one on the path of building, that way there to show what to aim for. But thank you everybody for watching, and I'm open to all and any feedback, and if you have any questions, feel free to just post them in the guide. Thank you.